Good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. I know it's kind of late in the day, late in the week. It's late for me, late for you, I'm sure. For anyone tuning in from the Midwest or the East Coast, my bad. My timing's never great when it comes to these impromptu streams, but I felt it's important for me to hop on here and just touch base with some stuff that's going on, things that have been happening. I'm just going to slide right into things here. So, initially, guys, I was going to do a kind of like a collective stream about everything that was happening, things that were happening local, and things happening abroad, of course, things happening in the Ukraine, which obviously are terrible. Anytime you have conflict of that nature, it's sad and tragic. Um, Let me turn myself up in the headphone here. But um, there's a lot going on there, and I know there's plenty of people that are covering it. The day to day progression of the machine that is war that's taking place over there in the Eastern Bloc. But tonight we are not going to be talking about that. We might touch on it for a brief moment, but I just really wanted to jump into to where we're at right now with some things that are close to home for me, things that are seem to be kind of like coming in my direction. So you got the flow of nature, the flow of force, whatever it might be, the organic nature of it all. No matter what it might be, I just want to touch on that and make that be what it's going to be. So big shout out to everyone that's tuning in from all over. Thank you for you guys for the stars and contributions. I really have to let you know that all of that makes a big difference, and I'm going to be pushing that a lot more late as of late and moving forward, um, because I'm trying to do. No, I didn't hear about Fat Boy down in Bakersfield, but I'll touch on that here in a little bit too. Um, and shout out to Catherine having a safety meeting over there. Much love. Hello to everyone from Oregon. We got people that are actually tuned in from the Ukraine right now, and I say that only because there are people that we'll be talking to in the Ukraine live here in the next day or two. But as I was saying, we've got stuff that's been going on here, local things that have kind of been touching close to home, close to my heart, and I figure that it's important that we talk about it. So, um, what I am talking about, of course, if you guys have been keeping up with me and what I've been on right now, is a lot of the mandate issues we've been dealing with, especially here in Washington. I travel a lot. And, what I was talking about with contributions. Um, I'll just so I will be in DC covering the convoys to DC, the Freedom Convoys US to DC. I think it's a powerful thing that we're seeing take place in our nation, and it's something that I definitely am happy to be a part of. And I know that you guys have been encouraging it a lot. You've wanted to see it. You want to see what I do when I do what I do when I'm out on the ground there, doing things the way I do it. And the only way I can do that effectively is to be there in person. So I will be in DC tomorrow. Um, and I definitely could use all of your support to help make that happen. So, sharing the stream first and foremost, become a supporter, and then if you are able to help with contributions of any kind, that definitely helps make a difference. But I will be on the ground in DC at 4 p.m. tomorrow, taking a look at what they're doing to prep themselves for the convoy heading to DC. Now, and then of course I'll be there for the days there following. Who knows how long? We'll see what happens. My plan is to be there and then figure it out from the back end. Back maybe I'll back end things and make my way into the convoy and jump in a vehicle along the way. But as of now, we'll be on the ground in DC. Of course, we're talking about the U.S. Freedom Convoy, which is heading that direction. It's interesting to see because I've been pulling up information on the convoy, and it's tough to coordinate because there's multiple routes that are happening. So you guys know there's the northeast route coming in from like the Pennsylvania, New York area. There's a southeast route coming in from like Florida and whatnot. Southwest route, which left California a couple days back. And now we have a northwest route that's coming in from Washington in this area. They'll be leaving, I believe, on the 1st, possibly the 2nd. I'm still trying to get all the details on that. It's really kind of up in the air. But they are definitely looking to clog the Beltway in DC. They're going to raise some awareness. Now, what's going on too is the State of the Union address happening on the 1st. So we've got that coming up, which is why the Northeast is cracking off. One of the and we're just going to slide into this here. I think one of the things that I wanted to show you guys, Carol Johnson, thank you so much for getting things started there. I do appreciate you for that contribution. Thank you very much. Shut it down. That's what they're trying to do. They're going to shut it down. They're going to go ahead and, they're going to do what they can to shut things down and raise awareness. And I think that's important, for anybody that's out looking to raise awareness for anything. But one of the things that I wanted to slide into here was some of the things that are happening. I'm going to try not to talk myself into the ground here too much, but one of the gentlemen he's running for, I think he's running for governor of, he's running for governor of Maryland. Kyle I'm not going to try to say his name because I'm going to mess it up. Sefcik. But let me go ahead and show you what Kyle's talking about here in just a moment. When it comes down to the actual the events that are going to be getting us into DC for the convoy. And here we go. This gentleman right here. And here we go. I believe this is the one. No, this is not the one. We're going to grab it, though. Here we go. And there it is. Boom. What do we got going here? Boom. All right. 1 second, guys. I'm getting better at this whole technologies thing, so bear with me for a moment, if you would. Stop it. And here we go. You guys know how I get down. It's always a work in progress. You know what I mean? I'm going to go ahead and jump in here, share the screen here. And Payo. All right. My name is Kyle. Yeah. Appreciate you guys being patient with me here. Here we go. We're going to add this one to stream. And so this is, I'll let him introduce himself because obviously I can't say his name. So
my name is Kyle Septchik of the Freedom Convoy USA 2022. And our routes meet here in DC on March 1st in time for your State of the Union address.
I want you to listen to this. This is Kyle Septchik. He is from the Freedom Convoy, the People's Convoy. Apparently one of the representatives for this. There's a lot of them. It's not a hierarchical organization, but they have spokespeople like anyone else. And he's talking about the Freedom Convoy, this People's Convoy here in the United States. And I want you to listen to this. This is how it's done. This is a peaceful, organized group of freedom-loving patriots who have no desire for violence or conflict like the BLM and Antifa terrorists. They're making it clear from the start what their goals are. They're making everything transparent so there's no guesswork, and they don't want any provocateurs in their ranks. This, ladies and gentlemen, is how it's done. Watch this and tell me why you're not on this guy's team if you're a liberal lunatic. Check this out.
This message is for the President of the United States of America. My name is Kyle Septchik of the Freedom Convoy USA 2022. And our routes meet here in DC on March 1st in time for your State of the Union address. We are very organized and our routes are public. I even pulled a permit for the National Mall to be respectful. I just want to be as transparent as possible from the start so there's no confusion. We are coming peacefully and we're going to do this lawfully and constitutionally. I want the rest of the world to know our plans so that there's no twisting and lying about who and what we are. I'm coming to you as a father, a small business owner who's unaffiliated to any parties. We just want government overreach to end. On behalf of Freedom Convoy USA 2022, we are asking you to end the state of emergency, end the mandates once and for all. Sir, the world is watching us because they know that if what's happening in Canada happens to us here in the land of the free, then freedom as we know it is gone. So we are leaving the choice to you. The decision is in your hands. This whole convoy, this whole assembly on the National Mall, it doesn't even have to happen if you just end things now and we can get on with our lives.
Is that guy, yeah, right? Well, I mean, it goes on. There's about another minute to that, but in the interest of time, I had to cut it just a little bit short there.
I'm going to see if it does.
Does that look like a Nazi white?
So I'm gonna pause this guy right here because again, like I was hoping to pull up the actual, just his, which I might be able to grab just the tail end of it. This gentleman, I'm not exactly sure where he's sitting. I just want to make sure we've got there. This is the one right here. Okay, cool. So we're gonna do this real fast. We're gonna go
Convoy USA 2022
and
our route and the mandates once and for all.
Let's go this route right here.
Sir,
I think we're in here, right? You guys are seeing what I'm seeing? All right, good deal. Good deal. And let's do this.
The Lord is watching us because they know that if what's happening in Canada happens to us here in the land of the free, then freedom as we know it is gone. So we are leaving the choice to you. The decision is in your hands. This whole convoy, this whole assembly on the National Mall, it doesn't even have to happen if you just end things now and we can get on with our lives. To you other convoys that plan on meeting us here, we look forward to seeing you and joining with you. We're going to do this right. We're going to do this honorably. Mr. President, we have no other motives in this mission. You see, the government, our elected officials of both parties have failed us tremendously these last 2 years. And now it's time for us, we, the people, to fix this, to end this. We're ready to get back to our lives, the ones promised and guaranteed in the United States Constitution, Bill of Rights, and the contract that you signed and swore an oath to under the one true God. This is simple. End this.
So it's the Freedom Convoy USA 2022. I got to tell you guys what I find interesting here as I'm looking at this Freedom Convoy deal is some of the comments that came across. And someone said something pitiful and disgusting. Whining about masks and helping others is plain ridiculous, especially with what's happening in Ukraine. It's interesting to me to think about that type of comment. And Kiv, I don't mean to put you on blast, but when you see things like that, it makes me wonder, and there are going to be trolls, whatever. But where we're at right now is that thought process that we should forget about what's happening here at home because something's happening overseas. That's not how it works. That's going to continue to happen. Things will continue to happen. Things are going to continue to grow or de-escalate. Whatever's going to happen in the Ukraine is going to happen in the Ukraine. What's happening here in the United States is what's happening right here in the United States. And we need to be very aware of what's happening in the United States. We need to be very cognizant of the fact that it's not going to stop just because we stop looking at it. Byron, thank you so much for that contribution. I do appreciate you there. It blows my mind to think that anyone would ever assume that if we ignore it, it'll go away. It doesn't. It won't. It hasn't. It never has. And that'll never be the way that we operate here in America. One of the things that we've been very good at is celebrating our freedoms and our liberties. One of the things that we've been very good about doing is setting a high standard for how we can execute those freedoms and liberties. One of the things we've seen a lot in the last couple of years is how those have been slowly taken away from us. What we've also seen is an understanding here that people are willing to sacrifice things for comfort, that people are willing to set aside the longevity of their progeny, the things for our tomorrows, for our kids, for the people that'll come up behind us so that we can have a better today. It's not about our todays anymore, though, people. It's not about what's happening right now. It's not about what's happening this moment. It's about what's going to happen tomorrow. And it's about what's going to happen the day after that. And we need to think about that moving forward, which is why I look at things like these convoys, these freedom convoys, where we have these people that have so dilated against each other. There's been such a polarized situation in the nation that we've been dealing with. We see people that are willing to just drive a car for freedom. That's what they're doing. They're driving cars. Several thousand vehicles as it works out now, depending on who you're going to listen to. But from what I've seen in boots on the ground, people that I've been talking to that have actually been in the convoy, there's thousands of vehicles coming from all over the nation to converge on DC. And what exactly Kyle was saying is what it is. It's a peaceful presentation of the thoughts and beliefs and need and cries of hopeful recognition of the masses, of people that are out here that are looking to change things. And we're looking for freedom is what we're looking for. We're looking for when I say we, of course, this is something that I typically don't get behind any one cause of any kind, because you guys know that I try to stay in the middle of the road. But one thing I'll never sit side saddle to is the thought that they can take away our ability to choose for ourselves what it is we feel is right for our families and our personal freedoms, our personal liberties, the things that we're born into, our inalienable rights as a human. So right down the line, we need to start thinking about things that are happening here domestically, things that are happening in America. and they've been kicked off. We saw it in Canada. We saw. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to cover it as much as I'd like because, contrary to popular opinion by a lot of people that I think have confused how this works, I do have to work at times to try to generate enough money to keep these lights on and to keep the camera rolling here. But it's peaceful. What we're seeing here is peaceful. What we're seeing is a gathering of people that are peacefully assembling in the hopeful recognition of something that they need and want to be changed. Now, we've been following this in Washington here, the mandate situation for a while. And if you look on the maps where the mandates are held out, Washington's running strong. It's a solid faction. It's not a light shade of a color. It's a dark fade. It's a dark color. Look, as far as like it's continuity with the whole map. It definitely stands out as sitting strong on mandate. I'm not going to jump into too much on it, but there are some things that I think are important when we're talking about these convoys. And that's really what I want to get into, because that's what we're going to be focusing on here over the course of this next week. And of course, touching back on things happening overseas. But I want to see what's going on right here. The convoy starting in Cali here. If we do this here, so it's hyperlink there. Boom. And where are we at? Pause that. Boom. So the Adelanto, California, I want to say is the name of the place where the convoy started on the south. So that's a southwest route. Mind you, there's multiple routes going on right now. So I want to make that clear. There's not just the one convoy, much like they had in Ottawa. I'm sure there were several different convoys that made their way to Ottawa. We really saw when everyone got to Ottawa, but there was definitely things leading up to that. And we're going to go ahead and jump in here. Boom. And all right, we'll see what's going on with this one. And make me small. That will be all right here. Let's see what's going on here. So this was the kickoff in California for the convoy. So that's what's going down over in that was it jumped into another video and it caught me off guard. They started playing some pretty heavy music. I'm like, man, that's getting pretty intense. This is along the freeway. Let's go and pull this one up here real fast. And we're going to slide this one in. Here we go. Now, mind you, these things, you might have turned the volume down. I'm going to turn mine down over here so you guys don't have to deal with it. But let's do this real fast. Jump into here, Pio. And share the screen for you guys here. Oh. Yep. All right, there we go. And apologize for the quiet times. All right, here we go. So this was the convoy kicking off, or this is actually the convoy as it was passing through. Not sure exactly. It's there on the left of the screen. I mean, that's running pretty deep. It said 2,000 plus vehicles, not just trucks, but vehicles in the convoy. I'm going to turn that volume down on this guy a little bit more here. I don't know if it says loud on your end as it is on mine, but that's pretty loud. But yeah, it's running strong, as you can see here. It's where are we at over here? I'm going to slide up to the end here a little bit. I mean, it's a long convoy. We'll leave it at that. That being said, we're looking at, that's just one link of the convoy that'll be moving towards DC. We have thousands of vehicles coming in from all over the place, actually, which is exciting. It's exciting to me to think that this many people are willing to find a way. Someone said they saw, let me see, Cunning Stunt said, I saw 7,000 from a trooper today. Okay. And these are people that are just out here, man. These are people that are just out here trying to raise awareness. You know, I've seen some things from. So here we go. Julie K, thank you for that. I'm going to show you guys this one here. So, the American Freedom Convoy, some of the associated groups. You got the Midwest Freedom Convoy to DC, the Illinois Freedom Fighters, Midwest Freedom Convoy to DC, official Convoy, Iowa. So, that's one of the things that's been difficult with covering this, guys, is that there's been so many different factions. It's hard to keep them all organized. Matter of fact, if anyone in these convoys that's watching this, or anybody that's with the convoys, wants to go ahead and email me, Julie, I appreciate that. If you'd please email me any of these, it's hard to keep everything in order. If you would send them over to me, that'd be fantastic. CJ@cjtv.live. I'm going to go ahead and put that up here as a banner so you guys can see that. Any information about the convoys? CJTV.live would be greatly appreciated. And they will add that. Boom, there we go. So CJ@cjtv.live. Dial me in, hit me up, let me know. I definitely want to go ahead and do my best to bring as much awareness to this as possible. I know there's going to be people covering it. I just want to make sure that I'm your guy on the inside, giving you all the coverage possible as it happens while it happens. I don't want you to be left out on anything. Yeah, I saw that Oreo. I'm going to be talking to that cat here soon. But it's there's a lot happening. Convoy is Putin ploy. What's funny to me is that anyone would assume that the convoys here in America have anything to do with Russia. These are things that we've been dealing with here for how long now? So this is nothing new, but it's something that's interesting to me. I did see that there are things happening. The state police warn of a vehicle convoy that will possibly begin in Lake County and travel through Illinois. This was as of 11:43 this morning. Here, let me show you guys what I'm looking at here. Give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And this one is state police. Here we go. Boom. All right. Where are we at here? Add the stream. What are we looking at? So the state police warned that a vehicle convoy possibly begin in Lake County and travel through Illinois. So Illinois State Police are warning participants of a vehicle convoy protest, which is expected to begin in Gurnee and travel through Illinois this week, not to endanger the safety of the public. The state police, this is interesting how they worded this too, is the state police said that they have become aware of a planned event along several interstate corridors scheduled from February 26th to March 5th. Truck drivers plan to conduct a convoy causing traffic delays, and this is what it potentially leading to crashes, the state police said in a statement. Any vehicle on the road could potentially lead to a crash, but cars driving in a solid single file line is probably the least of your concerns. I'm just going to jump out there. I don't work for the Department of Transportation. I couldn't tell you what the statistics are, but in my multiple decades of driving a vehicle, I would say that when you look over at the right lane of traffic and it's a solid line for 30 miles, that's probably about as safe a line as you can possibly get. And I'm assuming that these truckers and people that are along with this convoy are probably pretty aware of the road rules and the conduct therein when it comes to open highway travel. So I'm not assuming that there's going to be any push, as these guys are saying, for any traffic delay. Well, yeah, there's going to be traffic delays. That's what the awareness is about. If you guys remember, we saw a lot of that in Seattle during the freeway takeovers. Granted, there was tragedy that ended there. Accidents might happen. I don't know. We can't blame them all on this, but the individual drivers, hopefully, will be responsible for what they do. Anyway, we're going to jump through here. But the whole idea behind, well, not all of them, but many of the protests that we see is disruption. And they disrupt to raise awareness. So this is all about. They made it clear these are peaceful disruptions that they're trying to work into making change. So what we're hoping for is people to see what's happening, understand that something needs to happen as far as the resolution of what they're out there for. So what it says here is posts in several Facebook groups show a convoy of trucks along with other drivers are planned to meet in Gurney. Gurney Mills Mall at Gurney at 5 p.m. Tuesday and depart an hour later heading southbound on Interstate 94. So you're looking at Gurney. Let's look at let's see what's going on with Gurney. How about that? It's Gurney, Illinois, right? Gurney, Illinois. Gurney Mills Shopping Mall. There we go. All right, let's look at it on the map here. Boom. So where are we at here? Gurney Mills Mall. All right. So they're saying that they're going to be starting. Make sure we get this right here. Gurney Mills Mall. All right. Let's go back into here. And we're going to take a look at, let's see. Let's share this one right here. Boom. We'll be jumping around a little bit here tonight, guys, just so you know. And there we go. So here we go. So this is the Gurney Mills Mall right here. And let me add that to the stream so you can see what I'm talking about. Gurney Mills Mall right here in the middle. And let's do this real quick here. Get this out of the way. Boom. Right here. And looks like they're planning on, like I said, I-94 is right over here. Make sure you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. Yeah. So the this is one group that's planning on heading out from Illinois. All right. Now they're, I would encourage anyone that's joining this to drive safely and be aware of other drivers, to be aware of the best conduct you can have whilst, being in a caravan here. But we got I-94 running south-north here. And to give you a good idea of where that's at. So right up here, so we're looking, that's not far. Well, Waukegan, we're pretty close to you folks out in Keno. That's not very far away at all. Just over the state line, into Illinois from Wisconsin. So, yeah, where are we at here? Let's look at the travel time. Let's see the directions here. Boom. Between the Gurney Mall, where are we at here? Where'd it go? Well, we're going to say it's right around here in Lake Villa. Gurney, here we go. Boom. So, yeah, you're looking at about, 25 miles. So not far at all. So for all you guys that are out there in Keno, just keep in mind that if you're looking for something, according to the state police, to do at 5 p.m., there will be a meeting at the Gurney Mills Mall at 5 p.m. on Tuesday and depart an hour later heading southbound on Interstate 94. This is not just a truckers' convoy. This is the people's convoy, as they're saying. We hope to see many of you either in the convoy or on the roadways and overpasses cheering them on. Even if you cannot travel all the way to D.C., even if it is just for a mile or two, all the support is appreciated. According to some of the posts there throughout Illinois, though the Illinois State Police respects the rights of citizens to express their opinions in a lawful manner, there is a great concern with any event that is designed to impede or block the normal and reasonable movement of traffic, which is apparently Patrol Colonel Margaret McGreal was saying about it. Traffic backups are a major contributing cause to traffic crashes, which lead to property damage, personal injury, and even death. A planned event designed to impede normal traffic flow is dangerous to the innocent motoring public. And they go on to say that, be careful. Don't do something dumb. They're not saying, they haven't made any public statements about having any ideas of impeding the flow of this, the convoy or doing anything along those lines. But if you look at it in comparison to the grand scheme of how they're going to be traveling, could be down I-94, then hitting up I-90 and heading straight across to over through Pennsylvania, maybe linking up with the convoy coming from the northeast. But from what I've gathered, the National Mall is going to already have people there on the 1st. So there should be a northeast route that's going to be connecting prior to them getting there, I would assume, because it's the 1st. As Kyle, the guy with the last name I can't say, running for governor of Maryland, big props, said they'll be there on the 1st. So as we're looking at these maps here, guys, we've got routes that are coming in from Southern California that are heading up They made their way. I believe they went through Oklahoma at this point. So I'm guessing they got to be getting close to Arkansas, heading up through Tennessee, and then heading up the this route here, which will be coming up Interstate 40, I believe. I'm not exactly sure, and I'll definitely get more details for you on that one. There's a southeastern group as well. Not as much information coming in about them. And then we have our Northwest group, which will be coming out of North Bend, I believe. And let me double check the facts on that one real quick. Make sure we have all the details for that one. A couple things happening. So where are we at here? But yeah, that'll be coming out of North Bend. Well, it'll be leaving Spokane. As a matter of fact, let me give my buddy Jason a call here real fast. See what he's got going on, and maybe he can give us a little bit more details about the kickoff here. So let me jump back in on mine here, and we'll go back here. Boys here. Okay, you must support it. Where are we at here? So we'll call Jason. See what he's got to say. Put him on the spot. We're not going to tell him I'm calling. We're just going to hit him up.
Hello,
Jason. What's up, man? You're live on the show right now, just so you know.
Yeah,
So, Jay, tell us a little bit about what's going on in Spokane. What day you're kicking off, and what's really going down.
there's multiple groups in their own convoys meeting up in Spokane to then move on to DC, I believe.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of people bringing in donations that have been collected to pass on to the truckers.
Okay. And now that's going to be. Now, do you have any idea of like where the gathering is going to be from? Is it just all Western Washington? Is it Washington? Are we getting people in from Oregon, Idaho? I mean, I would imagine that they're not going to start any further east than Spokane to come back to Spokane to start the drive. But do you know of any other rally points along the way that people can be looking for, or people that might be watching would be interested in keeping an eye out?
Let me see if I can pull it up. I know that there's multiple ones here on the west area.
Right.
There's see if I can pull this up.
I'm sure he'll pull it up faster than I would, guys, because Jason's much more proficient when it comes to the technologies than dear old CJ here.
Although I did clean up a lot of stuff on my phone. I know I'm seeing is grit stuff. Dang it.
I'll touch on that here in a little bit.
There is Facebook.
Where are you looking right now, bud?
Right now, I'm going to look on Facebook, and I'm going to.
This is in case anybody wants to look as well.
Because I shared a bunch of stuff on my page already that was hooking up for the different convoys.
Okay, what exactly are you looking just under the People's Convoy?
No. So there's Operation Truckers donations drop. This is kind of where they're meeting up to pick up stuff on the 1st. Looks like Sumner Winco at 11 o'clock at a TA Travel Center at 1, and then a Petro Travel Center. Well, I guess along the line, and that's in Pierce County. There's a little map attached to it.
You're saying it's Operations Trucker?
On Facebook, there is a post I've shared that has one of the organizers where they have different convoy meetups and some routes. So I'm seeing 2 different routes right now.
Is this at Bard's Eye or?
Yeah.
Okay.
One, the Pierce County location, and then the Thurston County location. And I know that there's people coming from King.
All right, I'm just gonna pull it up on your page here and just see if I can't go directly to it. I'm seeing your videos here, but I'm not seeing where that's posted. Is it just gonna be in your posts? Where are we at here?
Yeah, it's in the post. It shows Operation Truckers donation drop. And this is just one group because there's multiple groups participating. And this is one group in particular that was organizing drop-offs and donations. The We the People Against Communism, WTPAC.
Right. I'm not seeing it in here at all, bud. Sorry. Yeah,
it's kind of a American flag looking thing with some text on it.
In Bard's Eye?
Yeah. Bard's Eye News. Make sure you look at Bard's Eye News.
That's
the other one.
I'm looking at Bard's Eye News right now, bud.
It's just a few down. 1, 2, 3, 4. I post slow junk, darn it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Operation. All right. Is there a link for that, or is this just? Did you just? Is that the Great American Patriot Project? I mean, which one? Truckers Freedom Convoy 2022? Is that what we're talking about?
Should I send it to you on Messenger?
Yeah, do that, please. Appreciate you guys bearing with us on this one while we're trying to give you some info here. It's tough doing these live streams when you're just kind of putting them together because you don't really have the opportunity to really
I sent you a link right to the post.
Right. Here we go. We'll just jump straight into that. All right, Jay, I'm just going to pull this up, take a look at it, and then we'll touch base with you here a little later, okay? All right, my guy. Appreciate you. All right. Bye. So yeah, it's Jason with Bard's Eye News, you guys. If you're looking to check out some stuff going on, I definitely encourage you to check out Bard's Eye News. Let me go ahead and share this with you guys so you can see what I'm looking at here as well. Right. Boom. And which one is this? All right, here we go. So let's do this here. Make sure you guys can see what I'm seeing. All right. So Operation Truckers Donation Drop. This is in Pierce County. This is a Washington situation. Like it says there, it's starting in Sumner. So we added a Thurston County location. They'll be heading out March 1st at 10 a.m. to meet up with the Sumner Winco location. Heading to Spokane for March 1st to drop off all the donations and see our heroes off the following morning. There are a few different convoys leaving on different days. They're leaving on the 1st to meet up with the North Bend group. The Wenatchee group will join them in George, which is eastern Washington, as well. And we'll roll into Spokane around 7 p.m. The convoy leaves Spokane March 2nd at 8:30 a.m. So Spokane, if you're in Washington, you guys, there will be a Spokane departure time of 8:30 a.m. on March 2nd. So keep that in mind. And we'll keep you guys caught up on all that. But and that's just an I-90 route, you guys, Interstate 90, which heads straight cross country, starting coast to coast, basically. So keep an eye out for that one. Let's see what's going on with Truckers Freedom Convoy 2022 here. Ready to happen. There's a lot going on there. But I mean, as you can see, these are some pics from the convoy here. Let's pull these up for you. This is the People's Convoy, which started on the 23rd. This is 4 days ago. So we got a lot of stuff happening here. I wouldn't mind hopping in. If you know anybody on the convoy that has an RV that they want to host a wayward traveling independent journo, I'm their guy. Plug me in. So yeah, we've got I mean, that's a good looking convoy so far, just coming out of Washington here. Good people support freedom, bad people don't. Keeping it simple. Yeah, there's a huge sign of solidarity and support that we saw in Canada. Hopefully we'll see the same thing here in Washington, or not in Washington, but in the United States. I would hope that people appreciate. Let me see. I hope people will appreciate the fact that these are just people coming out to raise awareness for something they feel strongly and passionately about. And if you don't have to agree, but you can agree with the notion that people are willing to stand up and speak out. They're not looking to take something away from anybody. They're not looking to rob anybody of anything. They're not looking to destroy anything. What they're looking to do is to regain some of the freedoms that they feel are being infringed upon. So I support that, and I have from the jump, you guys, from the very beginning. I haven't changed my tune, not one bit. I think it's wildly important that we appreciate that people are willing to stand up if they believe in something, and as long as they're not being destructive, violent, in any way, shape, or form, then all the power to them. You know what I mean? That's what the beauty of this great nation we live in is all about. I think it's incredible that we have the rights to do things like this. You don't see it everywhere. You don't see it in all places. You know, all around the world, people are fighting for their freedom. But here we are, man. I'm trying to look at these the comments, and it's tough because it's funny to see that some people really do have issues with these convoys, with people just driving a car in support of freedom. A lot of people may not even make it to the Capitol, and if you're worried about the Capitol being stifled, that the employees of our great nation in the epicenter of the control that is that network might have a tough day getting to work. Well, you know, I apologize for you. It's sad that upsets you. If that's what's got you feeling some sort of way, then I mean, just to say it kind of says more about you than the process. You know what I mean? But I think it's important that we remember that there are things happening here in the nation that shouldn't be overlooked because of things that are happening in other nations. Not that we should turn a blind eye to what's going on, but we need to be aware of what's happening here. Act local, think global, and then make changes as best we can. And I definitely encourage you to source your information from as many places as possible. But for this, as things move forward, when it comes down to this convoy, these convoys, we have an opportunity to see things through the lens of a camera that I'm going to be holding. So, cued. Julie, I'm not sure what that means. CJ at cjtv.live. Hopefully it gets through. That took off from California, Washington, D.C. by March 1st. Yeah, there's a lot of, there's convoys. Email me, guys. Please email me. CJ at cjtv.live. Email me. But that's the only way I can keep things in order here. Someone said something that's pretty interesting. Right here. Where is it? Yeah, right here. Russia is protesting and they're being charged with treason. Jada Kincaid, thank you for sharing that comment because you're right. I was watching videos earlier of just that. Anytime anyone started to unroll a banner, anybody that spoke up, immediately they were being snatched up. I saved a bunch of videos that I'm not going to jump into tonight because I'm not going into that route, but that'll tie into what we're talking about here. There's issues that we need to be aware of. Censorship, the shutdown of communication and the relay of information as it's not deemed by powers that be. We've had issues with, obviously, mainstream media feeding false information from both sides, and all sides. The big scary part, though, is when they stop people from being allowed to share information. The censorship factor should scare all of us. When talking about things like this can put you in a position where the crosshairs are placed on you for even trying to elevate the opportunity of conversation to take place. People like Joe Rogan that are being censored, that people would attempt to shut down because they feel that he's spreading misinformation. It's sad to me to think that people assume that a guy who was a UFC commentator / comedian, now one of the most, well-known and celebrated podcast hosts, is being deemed as and vilified for spreading misinformation. I think you've missed the cue on that if that's where you're at, world. If you think that someone like Joe Rogan is spreading misinformation while asking questions from world-renowned doctors and scientists and people that have real information like Elon Musk, if you feel like that's a misinformation, then I believe that maybe you're not the crowd that we're trying to appeal to in the world of, freedom, because I think that you might have missed the mark. I think you might be blind to the fact that it is being taken away from us, and that there are things that are sad, that are being robbed from us, which is our voice and our ability to speak it when we feel we want to. You don't have to listen. You can change a channel. Many of you have. Many of you changed a channel on me, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay if you feel like what I have to say and my feelings and my thoughts aren't coinciding with the way you feel, with your belief or your ethos. But one of the things I can stand on pretty solidly is that I'm an advocate for freedom. I'm definitely an advocate for the people. I'm an advocate for humanity, no matter what it might be. I'm not a political pundit. I'm not going to stand behind a banner and wave it in hopes that people will see me for being a part of a major group so that they can better identify me. I don't need that. I don't think any of you need that at all. I hope you can be self-identified. Celebrate the idiosyncratic things that build up the beauty of your being. And I say a lot of flowery words, but I mean every word of them. You guys, it's important that you remember that your voice is valid. And you shouldn't allow anybody to diminish that. You shouldn't allow anybody to take that away from you. And if you see it happening, not just with yourself, but with your neighbors and those around you, keep in mind that's an infringement on your freedom as well. They're taking that away from you. If they take it away from them, you will be next. Don't ever hesitate. Don't ever hesitate to stand up. Speak up. You got to speak up for those on either side of you as well. Even if you don't agree with what they're saying, agree with their ability to say it. Celebrate the freedom that comes in with the ability to speak our piece. You guys, it's being taken away from people all over the world, and it has. I mean, you've got again, we're going to keep it local. Internationally speaking, you guys, there's plenty of places that you can look at, Burma, other places that there's no voice there. Collectively, a country is controlled, and it's put under a very, very tight burpware, Tupperware style container. And what's allowed out is only deemed and sanctioned by certain groups. It's that cancel culture, in America, but overseas, it's the culture. It's what it is. It's scary to me. We saw that. I mean, we'll mention Russia. We were covering some things that happened when an event that was taking place here in Bellevue about something that was happening in Russia about one of Putin's biggest one of his biggest rival, not competitors, man, combatants, I guess we'll say, in the political realm of things. Someone who spoke animately and aggressively against Putin and the assassination attempts that took place on his life, and what ended up happening with his imprisonment. What was wild to me was what happened around that. And again, I'm not going to go too deep into foreign involvements of anything, but what I will say this is they were shutting down things on every social media platform. They were doing in Russia. They were going to the colleges and letting the college students know that if they were actively engaged in any type of protest, if they were actively engaged in any kind of outspoken notions against the Kremlin or Putin, that their scholarships could be taken away from them, that their funding would be taken away from them. They went through and actually they shut down, like the minister of public relations and whatnot. They started just turning the channels off. They said, no, we're not going to let you talk about this. Scary. We don't want to see that here. It's the last thing we want to see here. And exactly, Byron, you said it. Alexei Navalny. There it is. I'll put that up there. It's Alexei Navalny. And if you guys didn't follow that should scare you. The things that took place there should scare you, because that's the type of stuff that we need to avoid here in every way, shape, or form. We need to step away from people trying to silence the voice of the outspoken, those that are willing to stand up and say what they feel is right and what they feel isn't wrong, what is wrong, and whether again, like you believe what they have to say, whether you agree with what they have to say or not, like celebrate that they're actually out there standing up. You talk to soldiers, and I can tell you I've talked to many soldiers, and they may not agree with the actions and some of the things that they've seen in the country over the last couple of years, but they celebrate the fact that they have the freedom to do it. And we should all appreciate that. We should all appreciate the fact that people all over the country are willing to stand up for our right to stand up. And that's what it should be. Stand up for your right to stand up. Don't let somebody tell you have to be chaired. You know what I mean? Because in all fairness, think about this. What kind of example are we setting for our children if we allow ourselves to be silenced? I mean, can you imagine if you had your child comes to you with questions, mom, dad, auntie, uncle, grandpa, grandma, whoever you might be. I've got some questions for you about fill in the blanks. And if your response was shut up, don't talk, and sit down, I mean, how do you feel you would be looked at as a person? All right. Where we're at right now is a situation where we can go ahead and stop that. We can appreciate that we're allowed to speak up until we're not allowed to, but I don't think we'll ever get there, because I think we as a people, we as an American nation will stand up and continually fight for our rights. And we can do it peacefully. We can do it without violence. There's plenty of things we can do here. Well, we got to pay attention, guys. We got to pay attention to things that are happening around us. Much like things that are happening right here locally. So one of the things that's happening is, and these are things that I've been covering a little bit. So if you're in Washington and you're watching this is something that you might want to keep your eyes open to. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up here and share this page with you real quick so you guys can see what I'm seeing, because this is something that, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be here for. Give us some juice here. But I definitely want to make sure that you're aware that it's happening. So let's do this. And boom. So this is Grit, GRIT. So let's go home here. Boom. Okay. And now March for Our Rights, MFOR. Now, this is going to be going on March 5th. All right. And as it says here, government's resistance impedes tyranny. Government resistance impedes tyranny on March 5th, 2022, from noon to 3 p.m. on the steps of the Capitol here in Olympia. There's going to be and now you can check this out if you guys want. It's marchforourrights.org. Feel free to throw that in the comments if you'd like. Marchforourrights.org. As a matter of fact, I will go ahead and put the link up here in the comments so you guys can see that, because I think it's important. If you want to get involved or you want to see what's happening, do it. You guys jump in there. This way you can be involved as the levels. I don't want to say this, but I mean, there's the macro view, right? You can see that from 10,000 feet. We can watch the war in the Ukraine and Russia right now. We can see what's happening there from 10,000 feet. We can see what's happening in our own country from 10,000 feet, or get down on the ground level and just ask some questions. Just get involved, These types of situations, guys, what you're seeing here with like this Grit, this Freedom Festival, people get confused about it. Yeah, thank you for boosting the channel with the comments. Appreciate the trolls. Much love. But what we see here with like Grit, this Freedom Festival, is people that are willing to just come together and say some things. And what I love about these events, every time I go, I find myself kind of sitting the fence a little bit. I'm not really exactly sure where I want to go with things, but I definitely want to listen as much as possible. And I find myself kind of setting up the camera on the tripod and backing up a little bit and listening to the speakers. And I've met some amazing people, some incredible speakers, some young speakers, some people that have incredibly strong and powerful voices. But I've been able to ask questions. These types of events that you're seeing here are opportunities for you to gather information. If you don't agree with it, if you do, either way, it's a place where you can go to figure out what it's all about. And you might find yourself, if you're willing, and you got to be willing, let your guard down a little bit, people. Lower the walls a bit, if you will. Go out there with an open mind. Ask some questions. Not loaded questions, no gotcha questions, but just really ask some questions. And you might find answers that will either challenge, and they might challenge your view on things. And that's good. Agitated growth, guys. When you want to build a muscle, you got to break it down a little bit to build it up. But you might find yourself learning more than you thought thought you could from something along these lines. But things like Grit, we have a lot of stuff happening here in Washington. If you're in Washington, right here at the state capitol, that are important. And you don't have to wait for the mainstream media to tell you things, guys. You don't have to wait for CNN or Fox News or anyone else in between to tell you what's going on. I'm hoping that what I'll be able to do for you here, what I'm going to continually try to accomplish with your support, is to give you information about things that are taking place, to continually be a source of information collected from as many places as possible. There's no one-sided narrative in my world. I can tell you that, because I wouldn't even know what side that would be. I wouldn't know. I don't have an assigned political party. I don't honestly really have an assigned belief system on much of anything other than my faith in God, my love for my country. Those are two things that'll never shake on me, and what I'm willing to do for my family. Beautiful and terrible things, you know what I mean? But I consider all of you family as well. And we as a country need to stand together and stand up for each other. And like I said, you guys know I've been on the front lines in some pretty hairy situations here. I've been involved in a lot of things that I haven't necessarily 100% agreed with, but I've been there. And when I say involved, I mean I put myself into it so I could better understand it. And everything about the stream that you have here in front of you, it's a curious individual. This guy that's sitting in front of you is a curious individual. And what I'm hoping to accomplish as I move forward is to better understand what's going on in the world around me. And by the world around me, I mean right here, collectively. And I look at Washington State, and then I look at the states around me, and then we go coast to coast. Like tomorrow, when I get to D.C., I'm going to be talking to people in D.C. I'll be asking questions. I'll have a chance to look at what's going on in the capital of our nation. Not just the capital of my state, which is 20 minutes from where I live right now as well. But wherever we're at, we need to stay curious. We need to stay open-minded. We need to stay willing to listen, because the second we allow, and this is what happens, we allow people to polarize us. We allow people to pit us against each other. We stop listening. We start looking at people as a title or as a target, and that's not okay. It's not okay. We got to do better than that. We can do better than that. We are doing better than that. I think if you're listening right now and you're watching this, you're already doing better. You're already doing better. There's plenty of things you could be doing right now. You know what I mean? And I know there's a lot of people that are tuned in and watching what's happening in Ukraine. And if you're really curious, I mean, there's plenty of things we can do here, like this right here. But I think it's important we think right here, locally. Think about what's happening here in your own country. Let's move forward accordingly. But in case you are curious, what's going on? Let's take a look at this one right here. All right. Where we at, guys? Boom. And so this right here is 9 different camera angles of what's going on in Kiev right now in the Ukraine. Jeff, I'd love that. We should definitely get together sometime. This is what's going on at the moment. Granted, it's probably 5:50, almost 6 o'clock in the morning over in the Ukraine, I believe. I'm not sure exactly. Hey, Siri, what time is it in Kiev, Ukraine? Yeah, 5:51 a.m. So thanks, Siri. Much love. But this is what's going on over there right now. Granted, there's a lot more happening than what you're seeing on these screens, but we can watch these screens all day. But again, you guys, this is happening there, and there's a lot happening right here by home. So. But we'll keep tabs on these things as well. Don't get me wrong. It's just hard. You guys, it's really tough for me to honestly, it's very hard for me to sit down and look at things happening on these little screens and not be there. It it weighs heavy on me. The first time I sat down and started doing some research, just when the invasion started, it got me, man. It choked me up, and it got to a point where I had to just turn it off. I realized that every aspect of social media was inundated with these harrowing stories and terrible tales of things that were taking place, and there's nothing you can do. I mean, there's nothing I can do sitting here. There's nothing I can do about it other than show you what's happening. And I realized that you could also do that yourself. And I don't know. I'm conflicted about it. I'm very conflicted about it because you absorb a lot when you watch the things that are taking place so far away. And then try our best to process that. Either way, in regards to what Paul Arntz, yeah, absolutely, the Native American plight, things that are happening here with the indigenous folks here in America, absolutely. Paul, please email me if you have any information about things that you feel are important that you'd like to see me cover. I'm 100% about it. You guys, I'll consider myself a civil servant. It's a publicly funded show, and by that I mean the public here. You guys can help push me in the direction that you want me to go to cover things, not because it's a control factor, not because I feel like I'm going to cover it for your angle, but if it's happening and you'd like me to go take a look at it, let me know. I'll jump on it. We'll take a look. I'll ask some questions, and we'll see where it takes us. I don't know exactly what that'll be, but I can guarantee you that I'll be there as curious as possible. But right here at home, you guys, things are happening. March 1st, we have, where are we at here? What's going on? State of the Union. President Biden will be delivering bold action and immediate relief for American families as the country grapples with converging crises. This will include actions to control the COVID-19 pandemic, provide economic relief, tackle climate change, and advance racial equity and civil rights, as well as immediate action to reform our immigration system and restore America's standing in the world. The Biden-Harris administration, these are the immediate priorities of the State of the Union coming up on the 1st. Keep in mind, the State of the Union is happening on the 1st at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So 6 o'clock for all of us on the West Coast. 7 o'clock for you guys in the Midwest? If you got 2 hours ahead of us, around March 1st. It's going to be the first State of the Union address it should be interesting, especially with current light of the things that are taking place. Some of the things that we'll be talking about are going to be the Rona. Um, President Biden will move quickly to contain the COVID-19 crisis by expanding testing, safely reopening schools and businesses, and taking science-driven steps to address the communities, especially communities of color, who have been hardest hit by the virus. And President Biden will launch a national vaccination program to inoculate the U.S. population efficiently and equitably. Anybody wants to chime in on the comments for that one? U.S. That's the first time I've read this. Biden will launch a national vaccination program to inoculate the U.S. population efficiently and equitably. Immediately, I'm terrified. I don't know exactly what the plan is, but it'll be interesting to find out what that one is. And you guys can read about that one. Here, let me go ahead and do this for you real fast. I'm going to go ahead and, if you want to read about that, I'm going to throw this up in the comments so you guys can. This is where that will be. So it'll be 9:00, you guys. 9:00. This is the link there. The comments. If you look in the comments section, and thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you guys feel. Curious, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on the inoculate? I'm sorry, I can't even say this with a straight face, but but the fact that there's an inoculation plan to efficiently and equitably vaccinate the nation. Spam some emojis in there. Let me know what you think. Man. Amongst those, we're also going to be talking about climate. President Biden's going to take his action, swift action, they say, to tackle the climate crisis, meet the demands of science. The president is apparently mobilizing a whole of government effort to reduce climate pollution in every sector of the economy and increase resilience to climate impacts. The Biden administration will create good-paying union jobs to build a modern and sustainable infrastructure, deliver an equitable, clean energy future, and put the United States on a path to achieve net zero emissions economy-wide by no later than 2050. 2050. That's a bold plan he's putting us on. 2050, guys. Keep your eyes open. It's creeping up on us. 28 years, guys. We're on our way. It's funny because I'm sure a lot of people will jump on that. They'll say, can't even believe you're thinking about things as simple as a mask mandate here in the United States when there's things happening in the UK right now, immediately happening. But they'll directly behind like, well, we do need to plan for 28 years down the future, which we do. But it's interesting because there are things happening immediately. I would hope those same people jump on these same topics here. Racial equity is another one they're going to talk about here. President Biden's putting equity at the center of the agenda with the whole of government approach. Again, he keeps saying the whole of government. I would hope that the whole of the government will get behind whatever the president's doing. If not, we got issues with what the president's probably doing there. But he's going to have to, what he's looking to do, he's looking to embed racial justice across federal agencies, policies, and programs. And President Biden will take bold action to advance a comprehensive equity agenda to deliver criminal justice reform and disparities in healthcare access and education, strengthen fair housing, and restore federal respect for tribal sovereignty, among other actions, so that everyone across America has the opportunity to fulfill their potential. Man, tip of the hat. Yeah. But come on, man. Like, come on. Let's get down to it. We've got an amazing nation already. We're talking about, I'm going to leave it alone. Tip of the hat. Great. But the fact that they've dubbed this all into the racial equity aspect of things is kind of getting me. I was just talking to a gentleman, a good friend of mine, last night, and he was talking about how we're coming to the end of, of some awarenesses and moving into some other, right? And one of the things that I found interesting was that we have people that we're studying. I'm not going to say studying, but we put things on a platform here. Like we have Black History Month, Women in History Month. We have all these things that are going on where we feel like it's important for us to specialize our focus and attention on a certain demographic of people for their involvement in history. But what he said as an African American, as a Black man, he said, I don't need anybody to tell me about my history. I don't need someone to celebrate it specially. for me. He was like, my history is my life and I live it every day. And I don't need someone to remind me of that or to tell me that I should think about it. He said it's almost more of an insult to him. Mind you, these are his words. He said it's more of an insult to me for someone to tell me that I need to take a special month to remember my own history. He said, I think about it all the time. It's my history. And again, to say that, and I'll probably get a lot of blowback for this, but I just feel like right now as a collective and people, we're at a point in our nation where we need to celebrate the things moving forward and appreciate that we can continually work on the progress of things that are in motion, and I believe that there's been amazing strides that have been taking place by people of all color, creed, and gender in our nation since the conception of this great country. And I think that's what we should celebrate. Mind you, that's where I'm at. I'm sure I'm going to get some feedback for that. People will probably get pissed off about it, but it's how I feel. The economy is another one that they're going to be talking about. President Biden's apparently is going to talk about how we're struggling with COVID-19, the pandemic. President's also going to work with Congress to pass the American Rescue Plan. That's going to change the course of the pandemic, apparently. He's going to build a bridge towards economic recovery and invest in racial justice. Again, it comes back down to racial justice. We're talking about the economy, and now we're going back on this race card, guys. And we've been seeing this in his whole campaign. I'm tired of it, super tired of it. He's going to build our economy back, apparently, better from the pandemic and create millions of jobs by strengthening small businesses and investing in the jobs of the future. All right, let's just talk about that. Yeah, it's going to be easy to say that you've cinched up a bunch of jobs. Look at all the jobs we have available because of how many people were let go and fired. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have been laid off and let go because of COVID. A lot of small businesses. And we talk about strengthening small businesses. With the ones that are left is what we're talking about. The ones that have survived. Point them out to us. And what scares me is that now at the State of the Union, they're going to create millions of jobs by strengthening small. Are they going to start handing out some small business loans to people? Are they going to start giving people more of an opportunity to get up and start a small business? Because I know I can count on two hands right now off the top small business friends that own small businesses that lost their businesses over the course of the last 2 years because of things that have happened here, because of the way things have been shut down. So again, blow back as much as people want, but I think it's ridiculous. It's almost a slap in the face to say that now we're going to address it. Thanks for addressing that now. But what were we doing up to this point? This ties directly into what we're talking about with these freedom convoys. We're trying to make a change. We're trying to let people know, like they had the stand-up rallies and whatnot that were happening here in Washington, in the lockdown or in the shutdown. There's people that have been fighting this cause, that have been fighting for small businesses since the Rona kicked off. People that have been fighting for these same things that they're going to talk about in the State of the Union. They're going to address these things because it's a pulpit opportunity. There's people that have been in these streets that have been fighting for their businesses from the jump, tooth and nail, that have been trying to keep themselves afloat, trying to provide for their families. And they've had to deal with an uphill battle against people that are now saying they're going to go ahead and roll something downhill to help them out. Well, I hope that they do. I hope that the administration does do just that. I hope they really do put some effort into stimulating what is hopefully not entirely dead in some of these small businesses that have really been suffering and that have had to go under because of the situation that we've been dealing with here in our nation. Apparently it has something to do with racial justice as well in the economy, but we're going to go further into that with healthcare. Apparently Biden's going to be giving a renewed commitment to protect and expand America's access to quality, affordable healthcare. He will build on the Affordable Care Act to meet the healthcare needs created by the pandemic, reduce healthcare costs, and make our healthcare system less complex to navigate. Thank you for simplifying things. We appreciate it, and we're going to move on. Immigration. President Biden apparently his reform, and this is what I'm going to drop word for. President Biden will reform our long broken and chaotic immigration system. President Biden's strategy is centered on the basic premise that our country is safer, stronger, and more prosperous with a fair and orderly immigration system that welcomes immigrants, keeps families together, and allows people across the country, both newly arrived immigrants and people who have lived here for generations, to more fully contribute to our country. One of the things that I found interesting was that down on the border, when I went down into Mexico and was looking at things in the border crisis, one of the things that came up was one of the foremen of one of the fields said that seasonally there's 50,000 jobs that open up down near and past the border for vegetables and for fruit. These are jobs that are filled large in part by the vast majority by people by immigrants, people that are coming across from Mexico and from other countries through Mexico to work. They put in their 6 months, typically on a work visa, and they would go back. They would do that. That's the part of the process. And what that did was it helped control things at that access point. But those are jobs that were needed. Those are jobs that were important. That focus could have been something that could have taken place, because one of the things they did say was that when those jobs aren't afforded, when people aren't allowed that opportunity on a work visa, they have to work illegally. And what happens illegally is you get exploited. People are then put to the task of working crazy hours with less pay. People are dealing with injuries on the job site that they're not allowed to address. And there's plenty of people that work not because they want to steal America from Americans, because they want to go ahead and provide a better life that they have back home. And that should be afforded to anybody, and that shouldn't be an issue. Again, that's border situations and the immigration, and we'll see what comes up there. Restoring America's global standing. President Biden will take steps to restore America's standing in the world, strengthening the U.S. national security workforce, rebuilding democratic alliances across the globe, and championing America's values and human rights, and equipping the American middle class to succeed in a global economy. America's middle class, which has been effectively attacked and almost killed off. I mean, come on, guys. I'm not alone when I say this, but we've had to deal with people that have been the middle class and this classism that's been taking place, and the upper and lower that have now kind of become the more of the majorities, where the middle class has been doing its best to own a small business and to stay alive, and it's being put under boot. So let's hope that changes. Man. Moving into things, guys, though. So we'll see if there's a lot to talk about. So, and that's pretty late at night, 9 p.m. It's getting close to bedtime. So who knows how long that State of the Union will go on, actually. So, man. Either way, I think I've kind of touched on some of the things that I think are important here. And we're moving into tomorrow, right? So tomorrow I will be in DC. I'll be covering things on the ground there and doing my best to give you guys the most comprehensive Nate, Nate, I'll reach out to you later. My plan's on giving you guys the best coverage as I can from the ground there. Man. And so we're going to move past a lot of the issues that we're seeing here. Man. And see if we can't figure stuff out for tomorrow. So it's funny. I look at comments sometimes, guys, and I realize that a lot of people really have a kind of like a tragically, self-involved viewpoint on a lot of things. It's really hard for a lot of people to step outside of themselves. I would love to see that change, but it's going to take time. Maybe that's a 28-year plan, for the climate, if you will, of society. Either way, you guys, I would definitely appreciate you guys staying on top of things with me here. Set up notifications on Facebook and YouTube, Twitch if you're there. Follow, become a supporter. You guys, that'll mean a lot. We'll be doing some supporter-only chats and things of that nature. Jeff, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Also, you guys, contributions, the Cash App, the PayPal, the Venmos, those all make this possible. The stars make a huge difference as well. You guys, they're much needed for me to be able to make the trip. So this trip to DC, I'm doing for you. I'm going to be out there doing my best to cover things on the ground. I would have loved to have been in Canada for that entire time. Unfortunately, I wasn't. And so I hope that you guys will be able to support the efforts and actions that I'm taking place. Anybody can post up there the Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, also the supporter link, as you see there. Daniel K., thank you very much for putting that in there. You guys, I'll do my best. If you have questions that you want answered, send them over. If you've got things that are taking place that you want to see covered, let me know. But again, here's where you can really help contribute, and all of those contributions make a huge difference, you guys. Share the stream and become a supporter. And if you can't do that, I appreciate all the contributions that come in to help get me to where I need to be, to help give you the best coverage as possible. Again, these studio streams are kind of a little discombobulated sometimes, and I do my best to kind of piece it together. but I'm going to do my best to keep giving you the best I can give you. But it's tough. It's tough to stay on top of things and to stay in front of everything. And actually, honestly, you know what really is tough? It's tough to process it all. It's tough to get a chance to process, to let it sink in, gather your resources, because there's so many people that come in as experts on one cause, right? Like, I'm sure right now there's plenty of people that are experts on fill in the blank. We'll say Ukraine. People that are experts on the interaction between Ukraine and Russia. There's people that are experts on things that are happening with the United States right now, things that are happening with just Biden and his cabinet. There's the people that are great at that. Collectively, though, for me personally, trying to figure it all out as I go, all I have is what facts I have, what information I know, and the feelings that I have about those things and my curiosity. And that's where I'm going to stay, is in that place. So I hope that you guys can appreciate that. I hope you can appreciate that's where I come from, as a place of a need to understand. So I appreciate you guys helping me out with that. And, you know, if you don't agree with all my opinions or views, that's okay. I hope you don't all agree with them all, because I loved hearing the conflicting viewpoints from mine, because it helps me understand better where I'm at. And honestly, I ask myself those questions all the time, and I don't have all the answers, guys. What I do have, and I hope you all have it, is the ability to stay humble enough to say I'm wrong, change my views, change my opinion, or to just look at things a different way. And I stay steady in that lane. So I appreciate you guys for supporting that and for supporting people that are in the same place. And I hope that that's where we can stay. Curious and supportive. And remember, stand up for your right to stand up, guys. It's important. I love you guys. We'll be seeing you soon. Set up notifications, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all of that action. And I promise you guys, I will give you the best coverage I can give you with boots on the ground coverage. We're going to go hand-to-hand coverage, not combat, hand-to-hand coverage of things as they take place in our nation, coast to coast, as best I can. I love you all. Thank you for the stars and for the contributions that make this possible, because it does take a lot to keep this running. I look forward to talking with all of you as best I can. Email address at the bottom there, cj@cjtv.live. Hit me up. Let me know what's going on in your area. If there's stories that you feel are important, if there's something that you feel would benefit from a personal touch, I would love to do that for you. I would love to be there for you. I would love to cover whatever I can for you as best I can. And so let me know. You guys, let me know. I tell you what, I stay in this lane where I'm malleable and willing to travel for you. And yeah, Real News Live. Let me know. Send me a link, please. I would appreciate that. But we got our eyes on the Ukraine as well. We'll see. But we'll see where we get. You guys, I love you, and I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Have an incredible week. You guys are starting off Monday tomorrow. Let's start it off as humble as possible. Love yourself, love each other, and do your best to stay open-minded, y'all. We'll catch you soon. All the best.